couple of guys who know plenty about this rivalry. Jay Williams, who was 7-1 against North Carolina in his career. And Jay Bilas,
I have nothing to say.
Who helped the Blue Devils to many memorable victories, played in the first game in this arena here, Jay. And
1945?
Yeah, years ago.
Yeah. That's pretty
wow. 40 years ago.
That's pretty wild to think about it that long.
Wow.
For some of us, it seems like a lot more recent than that. But still, every time we come here, and by the way, I want to apologize. I meant to say will deliver in the rivalry. I said always deliver, so I do owe Bilas some type of copyright infringement.
You'll be hearing from my lawyer.
But it does. I mean, no matter the records, and both records are terrific this year, this is a centerpiece and a staple of the season.
I happen to think it's the best rivalry in sports, not just in basketball. And look, we can sit and go, okay, 11 national championships between the two great programs and all the Final Fours and the Hall of Fame coaches and players. But the sustained excellence that each program has had over the decades is unmatched in any other sport. And you mentioned 88 times that, this is the 88th time they've played when both teams are ranked. It's 44-43, separated by just a few points. In the last 120 meetings between Duke and North Carolina, it's 60-60. It's ridiculous. And tonight in the building, the air is going to be heavier. It's going to be a different feel than any other game. And you can't really explain it to people what it's like to be a part of it. It's a degree of special that I've not felt in any other game that's played in basketball.
Agreed. I just want to witness this for 1 second just to see how it feels, because I never usually do this. Tar! Tar! Tar!
What a suck-up.
It's... I don't know. Wait, well, can I? The reason why is I remember being 14 years old in this building at the Bob Givens tournament and standing here, staring at the jerseys of Michael Jordan, James Worthy, all these great players that played here, okay? And was getting letters of recruitment from Dean Smith. And Dean retired, Bill Guthridge became the coach, and they took a guy named Ronald Curry that was National Player of the Year for basketball and an incredible player for football. That was so personal to me because part of me wanted to come to school here. I then fall in love with a guy named Coach K, 9 miles down the road. I fall in love with the program, and it became so personal for me every time I played here because I wanted to beat their heads in. It was real, it was meaningful. And the thing I love about this is there's real meaning in this rivalry. If that's Caleb Wilson not feeling that he gets the type of recognition he deserves, or him saying that, hey, Duke recruited me, then they stopped, I never heard from them. This thing is personal for a lot of players, regardless of the time that it's in, and I think that translates in the rivalry as well.
But one last thing. Both Duke and Carolina have been at the top of the mountaintop for a long time. Neither program would be what it is today without the other.
Agreed.
Neither would be what it is without the other. Like, that's how important this rivalry is to so many people. It has been an elevating thing. And the programs are more alike than they are different. The differences will show tonight. Everybody will feel it tonight, but they're way more alike than they are different.
As we get ready for tonight, I am getting some breaking news in my ear. Pete Thamel reporting news coming from Durham, North Carolina right now, that Jay Williams, as a result of the Tar Heel cheer, has been excommunicated from the Brotherhood. We will update as conditions warrant. Carolina's matched its best start under Hubert Davis, 18-4. They were also 18-4 in the 24 season, ended up getting a 1 seed that year. They've won 4 straight. Duke has been on a tear. Started 11-0, only blowing a 17-point lead at Texas Tech kept them from being perfect. They've won 10 straight to begin ACC play, and they've also won 10 in a row on the road. That's the second longest run in Blue Devil history. And this is the first meeting between projected top 5 picks in this rivalry with Cameron Boozer and Caleb Wilson since Danny Ferry and J.R. Reed went in the top 5 back in 1989. You've heard a lot of it, Drea. There's just so much history, tradition, excellence just teeming from this rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, these two programs, you mentioned how alike they are. They're both known for greatness. And you both mentioned the 88th meeting between these two teams when they're ranked. It's the 70th meeting when they're both in the top 15. That's twice as many as any other series in the country. So the greatness that these two programs represent And Caleb Wilson going against Cam Boozer, I think about the first game when they played Kansas and how personal Caleb Wilson made that game against Darren Peterson. So I'm especially excited for this matchup tonight.
Yeah, Caleb Wilson's fascinating to me because he hasn't shied away from creating causes to motivate him.
Yep.
And I absolutely love it, to be honest with you, because I'm all about creating causes. Having said that, if these two players match up with each other, they're not going to be on an island. There's no way either coach is going to risk the other guy getting in foul trouble. There's going to be some type of defensive adjustments, and I think we're going to talk about them later, Rece.
Well, we are for sure, and as they are chanting for Caleb Wilson, would you like to hear from Caleb Wilson later on in College GameDay this morning? I think they would like that. We'll have number 8 rolling in here. The guys who played together on the youth circuit, won a championship, will be going head-to-head. Now, last week we were at Kansas. A.J. DeBonsa against Darren Peterson, supposedly 1-2 in the upcoming NBA draft. Had an ESPN.com story recently said for this year and playing and maybe number 1, Cameron Boozer from Duke. I'm just reporting the facts. Pete Thamel is here now. So, Pete, we had 1-2, maybe guys with the opportunity in this game and the rest of it to be able to move up in the rankings. I think they're talking about Boozer and not agreeing with that number 1 ranking that some have given him, Pete.
Yeah, absolutely, Rece. No player has helped himself more in the top end of the draft this year than North Carolina's Caleb Wilson. He's soared in the eyes of scouts, and he's set to be North Carolina's first top 5 pick since 2005. Could he leap up into that top 3? Well, opportunity looms tonight. There'll be 25 NBA scouts here to see Wilson match up against Cameron Boozer, his former AAU teammate. One scout told me Wilson is the ultimate wild card in this upcoming draft. He makes the kind of plays that you can't teach. If he's going to join Boozer, Darren Patterson, and A.J. DeBonsa, he's going to need a huge night. Boozer is the favorite for National Player of the Year. Scouts see him as a guy who has the highest floor of any player in this upcoming draft. He's a stone-cold winner, guys. 4 state titles, 3 Peach Jams, 2 USA basketball gold medals. Can he add a win here at North Carolina tonight? The scouts will be watching.
I talked to a scout yesterday, Pete, said you know exactly what you're going to get. The question is, are you going to get the terrific upside with Boozer that you might get with Wilson? How about Theo's brought some hardware. Dustin with the national championship.
TP, why they do your stats like that?
Hey, look.
4.7. Why they do?
I'm about to walk off.
No. We don't. Hey, because you know what? Because some people realize there's more to the game than just scoring.
It's about these right here, baby.
That's right.
You like all the scoring, RD. You love the scoring.
I do love the scoring.
Jay Will's not used to actually guarding someone, so maybe
No, I left that all to Jay Bilas. He can guard everybody.
Jay Will told a young man who joined us, not a high school player, he said, I guess he fouled out last night. He goes, if you leak out on defense instead of guarding, you won't ever
Can't foul out.
That makes sense. It adds up.
You know, RD, most people don't know how close, like, a lot of us are, right? So I met Ray at the McDonald's All-American game, and we became super cool. Ray used to come over to my crib when I was hurt.
Yep.
We would watch tape.
Yep.
TP and I would always talk, same with Justin. I got to ask y'all a question, though. We were having this conversation with some Duke guys the other day. We were talking about top 5 picks. Do you know, Ray, you were the last top 5 pick from North Carolina in 2005?
Yep.
We have 14 top 5 picks. You guys have 2 since 2000. What's going on? What's happening? Can you walk me through this?
Ain't nothing happening, but there's still a lot of us in the league, though. It's a lot of us.
Okay. I'm just asking.
I just walked through the wall today. It's a pretty long walk.
You got a couple. You got a couple.
Hey, I would like to, all of you guys played multiple games, and with the way rosters turn over now, do you sense any difference in approach, a difference in appreciation, like the number of times you guys met Duke against these guys? You'll play them 2, maybe 3 times in some cases, most?
Not really. I mean, the rivalry is the rivalry. You know, I don't care how many times you play. It's the biggest rivalry to me in sports. You know, it's the biggest rivalry in sports. So, like I told the guys yesterday, listen, this is probably one of the most important games you're going to play in your life. So just go out there, enjoy it, have fun, but let's beat Duke.
You know, Hubert Davis was asked yesterday, had only Seth Trimble on his roster has played in this game before. Yeah. You know, have you talked to the players about what it's like to play in this game? And he says, you know, I really don't do that. I talk to them, and I have former players come talk to the players about what it means to play in this program. So with that in mind, what would you guys say to the players now about what it means to play for North Carolina?
You just got to feel it. I think it's one of those things, when you're a freshman, you don't really know anything about it. You just got to come here and play the game. And you got to rally around them. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to just come in here and give everything you got. The only thing you can really control is how hard you play. And you've talked about it before. It doesn't matter what each team, what the record is or anything. This game is special. It's the most special game in America, and tonight's going to be electric.
JJ, was it personal for you when you played? Because I remember back in the day for me it was, because we used to, summertime, we would spend time over here. We would play pickup. Guys would come over to Durham. We would play pickup. You get into scraps. Things happen. You know, you see each other out. Like, did it feel personal for you when you played against Duke?
You know, people ask that question as far as like, do you feel this rivalry as a player, right? And I think to that point, all of us were so close. Like, we came in as freshmen. Jaleel, I played with Justice through AAU, Tyus, all those guys we were close with through AAU, right? But the way this game is built up, it adds some animosity to it. So going into the game, yeah, we're cool, but now we're enemies, right? So once you get in there, yeah, there's a little personal, right? Like, I grew up, I think that's the biggest difference. I grew up watching y'all play in the rivalry, right? So it was like, coming into it, it was like, yeah, I don't like that other side, which I think now is a little bit different because now you've got transfers coming in, it's 1 year, whatever. But the way this game's built up, it's the best rivalry in sports. So if you don't come ready to play, then I don't really know if you really got a heartbeat, to be honest.
I always would try to explain to people, like, you can't believe the atmosphere in these games. Like, the air is heavier, and you kind of have to check yourself in warm-ups. You don't wear yourself out because you get so hyped up. Do you guys remember what it felt like right before the game when you're getting ready for it?
Yeah, I want to just say, this guy right here, junior year, Luke Kennard, Justin Jackson. We're going head-to-head for ACC Player of the Year. They came in the locker room, they said, Theo, you got Luke Kennard. I said, okay. We start the warm-ups. Justin walks up to me like, nah, I got him. It was personal. So it added a little bit to it. This game has something into it, and I think you think Caleb Wilson and Cam Boozer don't want to go at each other tonight. It's going to be special.
That's what I want to see, TP. Like, we had Darren Peterson and AJ DeBonsa, right? And we were talking coaches' strategies and guard. Like, I think they're going to guard each other tonight. I actually want to see them guard each other tonight. How do you guys feel about the fans, man? Like, my house still gets TP whenever you guys win this game. Like, it's a real thing. You can't hide whether it's.
I don't think that's related. I think your neighbors just don't like you.
That can happen too. But whether it's, I don't know if you guys still go to the same barbershops or that stuff, but like, it still feels like the fans follow it 24/7. They don't let you let go of.
Yeah, I mean, it's the rivalry is built around the fans, honestly. When it comes to, as far as the animosity, the hate, the fans are what really build that up, right? And then we feel it when it comes to on the floor. We feel it as the game starts going, okay, yeah, we don't like the other side. But I mean, the fans have to be credited to how this rivalry has become what it really has become. And so you got to give them the credit on that.
Let's say there's a moment tonight, and the Tar Heels need a little boost of energy from this crowd. Take me kind of inside your gut. When they stand up, they get behind you, you need a big defensive stop. What's that like in this game for a player?
Oh, man, it's everything. You know, the fans are everything. Like Justin said, we feed off them. You know, we might be having, at some point in the game where the game is not going that well, we're not playing as hard defensively, and the crowd pumps you up. You know, the student fans, the fans, they pump you up. You know, I remember something that Jay Will used to do. I used to watch him before I came to Carolina. He used to smack the floor. So, I kind of took that from him, and I just smack the floor and I pick up full court, try to get us a steal, try to get us a dunk, and, get everybody going and get my team going. So, we definitely feed off the fans, 100%.
Man, I got to tell you, what you guys have represented for your university, what you guys have represented for us as players, man, I'm very appreciative of who you guys are, who you continue to become. You guys are all legendary in your own right, and I appreciate you guys coming on the show.
These guys have been absolutely tremendous. I would ask them to pick, but I think we know what the answers are. Raymond Felton, Theo Benson, Justin Jackson, thank you guys for joining us. You guys, absolute gentlemen.
Thank you all.
And Tar Heel legends.
Caleb, you have not shied away at all from making matchups personal. And I know your screensaver and your wallpaper on your phone going into games can motivate you. What is your wallpaper right now?
My wallpaper, I have a picture of me as a kid right now, but before the game, I'm gonna come up with that midseason Team All-America. You know, I got to make some noise.
Can
to get it done.
you swipe through some of your previous wallpapers that have motivated you in the past?
Yeah, I got you.
Let's see what do we have some?
I got midseason second Team All-America right here.
Okay.
ACC preseason Player of the Year right here.
Wow. Okay.
And preseason Freshman of the Year.
So just motivation when you feel slighted. You know, some people like to shy away from things like that. They're like, no, it's just another game. How are you so comfortable letting everybody know that matchups are personal for you?
You know, I'm always confident in myself. You know, I put in the work, so I just feel like I'm going to get it done. You know, I got a great team with me, so I feel like we got to get it done.
Henri, the game tonight, you guys have been so powerful in the paint and on the glass, you and Caleb. And then Duke has some interior strength as well. But if you had to boil it down to one thing that the Tar Heels have to do to win this game tonight, what would you say it is?
I feel like just being able to play clean in the post, stay out of foul trouble, and I feel like beating them on the rebound is going to be the key to win the game.
And speaking of rebounding, I mean, you're averaging close to 10 rebounds a game. You've had, 12 double-doubles on the season. And coming into this year, in your time at Arizona, you didn't have a double-figure rebound game. What's the difference in you from the last 2 years to this year?
I feel like just building aggressiveness on rebounds, especially on the defensive side. Coach May has helped me tremendously over the summer, just to work on the rebounding game and just be aggressive the whole game and don't settle.
Henri, I think you saw Duke last year when you played at Arizona. What's the difference in the anticipation for that, which was a big game then too, and then this one in the rivalry aspect of it?
I think here it definitely means a lot more to the community than it did in Arizona. Just the way to see UNC and kind of neighbors playing against each other, the rivals, just seeing the atmosphere around this game where everybody, since I got on campus, everybody said, hey, if any game you win next year, beat Duke. So just hearing that.
Seth, I know you've talked to your teammates about what this rivalry feels like, and one thing I read that you've said is that there's so much tension. Where do you feel that tension, or when do you feel that tension the most going into the game?
You really just feel it leading up to practice. You want to be sharp with every single thing, every day. You know, we turn the ball over in practice. It's a big deal. We get defensive assignments messed up in practice. It's a big deal. You know, everything that we have is hyped up so much more. You know, we got them here. We're going to make sure we take care of them tonight, but, you know, it's all part of it. It's all part of it. It's what makes this rivalry.
Yo, Seth, I feel like you're the engine to Carolina's transition game. I mean, that game you played against Kansas where you guys got up and down the floor, you guarded Darren Peterson, did an amazing job. What's the key to Carolina getting out in transition in tonight's game?
Getting defensive stops. When we're playing our best defensive game, we're able to get out in position and make things happen from there.
We were talking earlier in the show, Caleb, about how often you might be guarding Cameron Boozer. Would you like that? Do you want to guard him?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. You know, we played against each other and played with each other when we were younger, so, you know, it'll just be nice to compete with, you know, old friends.
Well, one thing Hubert Davis said yesterday for you guys was sustain to the end, and it sounds as if you're ready to do that. Guys, thanks a lot for being with us. Caleb, Seth, Henri, thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Tar Heel Stars tonight. They'll try to end it. What pertains to the Wooden Watch, Cameron Boozer is certainly putting up some remarkable numbers. He's done it for Duke, leading them in several categories, 9 games in which he's led the team in scoring, rebounds, and assists. That's the most in the country. Only Ben Simmons did it more often in his season at LSU. So we go over to Bilas now. As Cameron Boozer, what makes him dangerous? What's he doing well right now, Jay?
What makes him dangerous is everything. I mean, he's got great size, and his lower body strength is incredible, and they can really move him around to different spots on the floor. We're going to take a look at what Duke did with Cameron Boozer against Boston College. Now, he can post up off the block, so he posts up here, and the key is, like, are you going to go double him? And he's a really good passer out of double teams. He processes things slowly, and he makes really good decisions. But Caleb Foster right here is going to cut through, and that's going to drag this defender. But note when Cameron Boozer catches the ball, even though he's not right on the block, he pauses for poise. And this is a post-up, even though it's on the wing. And he looks middle to see if that double's coming. He can see this defender, but he wants to know if it's going to be a big-to-big. So when When he gets it, now he can either back down or face up, but he's going to face up, and he likes to go to this left shoulder to his right hand. So if you can get him going the other way, he's not as he can score with either hand around the basket, but maybe not quite as effective with his left hand. But you let him get to his right here, and he can go up with a jump hook or give you that fake, and then he steps through. He's just got great footwork. Now right here, Duke's going to run a little action. It's going to be a staggered screen here. So you got Cameron Boozer and Malik Brown setting a stagger screen for Nick Hemenia. He's going to come and curl around this. Now, this is kind of fluff action. This is not what they're looking for. They're looking to reverse the ball to get it to Boozer. And as Hemenia cuts through, this is, again, they were looking for this reversal. As soon as the ball reversed, now Hemenia was the original cutter, and he's going to come and set a low cross screen for Boozer on this reversal. That's going to cause Boston College to switch, and then Boozer is going to cut across, and when he catches it there, it's over. He's made 115 field goals at the rim, and he's a great rim scorer. But they also use him in a lot of pick and roll situations, mostly in the middle of the floor. So he's going to set a screen roll here with his brother Caden. And as Caden comes off this, Virginia Tech's in drop coverage. That's going to open up a little gap for a pocket pass. So a little bounce pass, and Boozer's going to catch it right around the free throw line just inside the top of the key. Now, he can make that shot, but what he's really a playmaker in that short roll. You got two shooters on the left, and you'll see Malik Brown. He's not a great shooter, but he'll cut to the basket, and then you'll see a fill into the corner, and then you got Caleb Foster on the right corner. As soon as they let it go here, like he catches it, and he just bulls his way to the basket, gets fouled, and scored. He is unbelievably strong. You can't really guard him necessarily with one guy, and if a double comes, he's an excellent passer out of it. That's going to be a challenge for anybody that plays against him and a challenge for the Tar Heels.
So what is it you think the Tar Heels should do, Jay Will?
Well, I think Caleb Wilson will probably get an opportunity to defend him because I think Seth, he's going to want that. I think they're going to send him multiple coverages, right? I think you got to give him different looks between doubles, stunning at him, trying to make him more of a passer than letting him score. Because when he gets so deep into the block, his efficiency levels are off the chart. He is an absolute bucket. And I think you have to force Duke to beat you from the outside. I think tonight's game is going to come down to both guards on both sides of the floor and their ability to make shots from the outside, considering how packed the paint is going to be.
And if you double them, the doubles have to be big. So you not only have to come over with high hands, those double teams have to be tight so he can't get through, and they got to be violent. They got to be physical. I think physicality is going to be a big part of this game tonight. And your point, like Isaiah Evans is a huge factor because he's Duke's best shooter. But you got to figure out a way to get the ball out of his hands because he's so dangerous. And then you got to make him guard on the other end. Like, if you can get Cam Boozer in foul trouble, it's a lot easier to guard him if he's got to spend some time on the bench for fouls.
I think when you talk about getting the ball out of his hands, I think about the Michigan State game, right? And he was posted up. Cam Boozer was posted up. Michigan State would ghost in a double. He was giving it up. He was 1 of 4 in the first half. But then, like you said, because he can play everywhere, you can put him in spots where it's hard to double. He's 6 of 9 in the second half because he took him off the block, and Michigan State couldn't send the doubles team. So to me, when you talk about doubling him, it's really hard to do that because if he catches in the short corner in isolation, if he's on the elbow, where are you sending the double from?
They also invert screens. I mean, a lot of times he's running a high P and R with another big.
Yeah.
This game's going to come down to which big guy gets in foul trouble. Both of these coaches are game planning to take the ball out of the other guy's best player, which is their front court player. My gut is that they'll probably double him on the bounce, but I would, if I was prepared for this game, I'd put Henri Veesaar on Boozer and then use Caleb Wilson as a help defender and a shot blocker. And then also, because if you get a rebound, what's one of the best things Wilson does is change ends of the floor. You get him in a cross match, he's up the floor and getting out in transition. But I like the idea of Veesaar and then using Caleb Wilson as a double. Because if you put a one-on-one defender on Boozer and put that defender on an island, he is going to foul. That's end of story. You've got to get the ball out of both of these guys' hands.
So Cameron Boozer tonight trying to add to that family legacy in this Duke-Carolina rivalry. Of course, his dad, Carlos, was outstanding. Maybe it'll be Cameron who has the opportunity. Both schools had top 5 picks in the same draft, which is pretty remarkable. If you think about that, there's so much history, legacy, storylines from the past. What about the keys for tonight's game, a game you'll call with Dan Schulman?
I think this game's going to be decided in the paint. Duke's an excellent defensive team. They do a great job of limiting paint touches and paint scoring. Carolina wants to get it in the paint. The key is, can Carolina defend their paint as well? And I think Carolina, to win this game, they got to get out in transition. And I've always felt like with this team, Seth Trimble is the engine to their transition game.
Yeah.
And when they get stops and get rebounds, Seth Trimble's the guy that goes. I mean, he is the engine of this transition game, and he's got to be a key player in this game tonight.
When I think about Carolina, I like the different ways they get Caleb Wilson the basketball. To me, they've been really, really creative getting in the ball in the middle of the floor, especially when they play that big ball screen with Veesaar. Real simple. You want to get in the ball, put big ball screen. These two guys, you got to make a decision. If you don't switch it, there's Caleb Wilson going to the front of the rim. They do a great job of isolating him on the left block, and he is so patient around the basket. That's where he can get Duke in foul trouble. But the best way to get in the ball is what you just talked about, Jay. He does a great job of changing ends of the floor. If he can play ahead of that Duke defense before they either double him or wall up against him, I think that'll be really interesting. But the matchup of the bigs is going to be fascinating to me as a coach, just how they're going to defend those two guys. If you can play them head up, you're going to get in foul trouble. Help's going to come from somewhere.
Yeah, Henri Veesaar, what an amazing addition for this North Carolina team. I mean, how many times last season did we talk about North Carolina and how much pressure was on the guards and how the guards had to create for each other and the guards had to create for themselves? Now you've got a big that's shooting 80% at the rim, 40% from beyond the arc, and has great chemistry with Caleb Wilson. So to me, Henri Veesaar and his impact, his ability to stretch the floor, the pressure he can put on the rim, how he's going to defend, my eyes are on Veesaar for sure.
He led Arizona last year in plus-minus, which is incredible. And you think about a team that last year had no front court, now to having one of the best front courts in the nation. Like, that's what North Carolina basketball is. They play inside out. I got a chance to call their game the other night against Syracuse, and Hubert Davis talked a lot about in their game prior to that, they were 8 of 31 from the three-point line. And he's like, hey, look, just because shots are open doesn't mean that we have to take them. You want the right shot, but sometimes when the ball comes out of the post, instead of just settling for the shot, repost or throw it back into the post. And they want to make sure they play inside out. And when guys like Derek Dixon or Luka Bogovic are able to knock down shots, that's when North Carolina's off its best, off of post passes and playing inside out.
Matchup I'm watching, we talk about the bigs, Seth Trimble and Isaiah Evans. Seth Trimble is one of the best defenders in all of college basketball. And he's got a toughness about him. If you take Isaiah Evans out, their elite shot maker, and put pressure on Sarr to make shots and Caleb Foster to make shots,
that's not what they do.
All of a sudden, the game changes. So that matchup with Trimble and Evans and the physicality that Trimble plays with, I think is going to be interesting.
We are talking about the second and third tallest team in the nation. Positional sides, nobody matches up with Duke better than North Carolina.
It's like handling pressure, too. These are low turnover teams. They're not high turnover forcing teams, but my guess is that Duke's going to try to pressure the ball when Derek Dixon has it. See how he does against pressure. And he's got good size. He's not afraid. And one of the things he's done better over the last 5 games since he's become a starter, he's starting to throw ahead. And you start throwing ahead, Carolina can really get out in transition. That's really going to be a key for them.
I think one thing North Carolina struggled with on their West Coast road trip was defending the three-point line. Like, Callan Stanford hit some really tough shots. They also got some easy shots. When you talk about Isaiah Evans, he could be due for a big game. He hit 6 threes at Florida State. He hit 4 at Louisville. He hit 4 at Cal. Like, he's been good on the road at knocking down shots. So I think it's important for Carolina to get into him, be physical, make him put the ball on the floor.
Last thing I want to say real quick. When you watch these teams warm up, traditionally it's always like the guards that kind of lead the team into the last 10 minutes before the game starts. For both these teams, Caleb Wilson and Cameron Boozer are leading their teams out onto the court. Like, I don't know if you, Jay, how you feel about that, but like I never see bigs do that. I never see bigs say, this is my, I hear them say this is my team, but traditionally they run out, like middle of the pack or the last.
Put those big guys in the back.
But I find it very refreshing that these entitled guards are pushed to the side and the big guys get to show.
It's about time. That's all I'm saying. It's about time.
Championship teams have great bigs.
And I'd like to hold him to this when he said, this is the last thing I'm going to say.
I left out one. It's Jay Williams and Joe Forte. Bilas is going to call the game. Let's make some picks. Seth, who's going to win?
You know, Duke is really good, but this place is being played in the Dean Smith Center. I think Seth Trimble does a great job on Isaiah Evans, and I think those big guys dominate the paint. They double Veesaar and get it out of his hands. Tar Heels.
You know, I usually go with the team that is strong defensively, and Duke has an incredible defense, and defense travels. But with how personal this is for Caleb Wilson and how I know these fans are going to show up and how Seth Trimble is going to be motivated and lead the team, I'm going UNC.
You know, I love it being personal. I hope that Caleb Wilson and Cameron Boozer guard each other. I think it's going to come down to Duke's defense and the fact that they can keep North Carolina from knocking down threes. I'm going to close that. Duke boys. Let's go, baby.
There we go, saving
Let's
the
get it.
graphic